The most important and the most opportunistic time for legacy media companies, old media companies, newspapers, broadcasts, is now to make that transition from what we were to what we're going to be. At Journal Register Company, we have more than 324 online and print products serving 992 communities in 10 states. Some of those products go back to pre-revolutionary times. We have one newspaper that can trace its founding back to Ben Franklin as a co-founder, and we have one newspaper whose one of its first obits it ever ran was actually George Washington's obit. And so we have these deep, long history over hundreds of years in our communities. We're trusted brands for news and information, and in many cases, we are the #1 source for local news and information in those communities for many, many, many years. So along comes this new phenomenon, the internet, and we're faced with how do we adopt these new technologies, because it's clear now that more Americans get their news from the internet than any other form. It doesn't matter where it starts. That's another argument, whether it starts in newspapers or television, but they get it on the net. And clearly, this is a year in 2012 when more advertisers will advertise in the United States of America online than they will in print. We need to make that transition. The customers and the money have gone to the new formats. We're going to leverage our resources in our marketplaces, which are more than anybody else. In every market that we're in, every single market that we're in, we have more news and information creators full-time who are employed by us than all of our competitors combined. And so we're able to create an enormous amount of original content cost-effectively, profitably, on a local scale. So we have all of that available to us, and then to add to that, there is no development that a Patch, or Huffington Post for that matter, or any blogger who comes along into a community, there's no opportunity they have that's closed to us. We can take what we have and add that opportunity to it. And so at Journal Register Company, we call it loosely digital first. We're now looking at allocating all of our resources to how news is created and consumed these days. And we follow it starting from SMS alerts all the way down to print. We say digital first and print last, not because we're dismissing print, because it actually comes last in the cycle. Long before that, we're using social media, we're using video, we're using mobile, and we're using web and widgets to get that news out there before we do the actual print product. And so we're able to essentially create this very vertically integrated and robust news and content silo that wasn't available to us before. Our audience has grown dramatically in the last year at the Journal Register Company. We now have 16 million Americans a month who use our products because of this digital expansion. Last year, that was 13 million.